How did you start to actually picking up trash?
I just did it. And then I did it every day. I ended up doing it every single day.
Wow.
Just, just as a getaway to like clear my mind. There's a level of respect towards nature and the part of nature that, they can't speak for themselves.
That's right.
But you treat them as if, you would like to be treated.
To wake up every day, to pick up trash, to enjoy doing it, the simple question is, what do you get out of it?
What do I get out of it? I don't know.
A great teacher once said, which was actually on this podcast as well, salah satu pekerjaan yang paling mulia adalah sebagai pemulung. Karena beliau bisa mengubah sampah menjadi emas. And that teacher was actually Susilo Tur, atau adik dari Pramudia Anantatur. And when I talked to him, I know what it meant, tapi I've never seen a figure that is so keen about that topic, that is in-depth in doing it. And here we are with the person himself. Hara, thanks for being here, man.
It's an honor.
Dude, I've seen you on Instagram. People have recommended me to talk to you. And I believe they're doing that because they know that you're doing something good. But I want to know how it all started. Gitu. Let's go back to the beginning. Gitu. Let's talk about growing up, in fact. Gitu. It wasn't here. It was in Australia. Gitu. Obviously very different. Different mindset, different. Obviously, the nature is different. Gitu. But what was that like? Can you share us a little bit about it?
I would love to share a little bit about that. But what I would like you to know is that I don't go about telling people that I was from Australia.
Okay.
Because I'm not from Australia, but I grew up there because my mom was studying there when I was a little baby. So I couldn't really take credit for going there.
Yeah.
Because it's not part of my awesomeness, it's part of my mom's awesomeness. So she can take credit for that. I just happened to be born into her family. I mean, into my family.
Yeah.
I got raised by amazing parents.
Yeah. Wow. So it was only there for how many years?
So when my mom got the scholarship to study there, I was 2 years old, and the scholarship allowed for her to take with her family, which included my dad and myself.
Yeah.
So 3 of us, we went there in Darwin.
Yeah.
We went to Darwin, and she went to do her studies.
Yeah.
And because I had to go to school at some point, I went to school.
Yeah.
And there I learned a lot about manners, about caring about the environment, and coming back here was a little bit of a shock. Well,
quite the difference.
Yeah, quite the difference. We have wonderful nature.
Yeah.
Like the nature here is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I don't see as much respect given to it as I saw back in Aussie. As a matter of fact, this one time, back when I was in kindergarten, our school had this field trip to a aquarium, like a big aquarium. And there was, this aquarium it was displaying a bunch of marine life along the shorelines. So it was kind of like so there was a sea cucumber, otherwise known as a tripang. Tripang, right? There was a sea cucumber there. And I was curious as to what the sea cucumber actually was. Is it a cucumber? Is it a sea cucumber? So I climbed on the sides of the aquarium, the railing. And then the guy there scolded me. He said, like, hey, don't do that. You're stressing out the sea cucumber. It's a concept which assumes that, which is in fact scientifically correct, that sea cucumbers or other animals can feel stressed.
Of course.
And that would, that's not going to be good for them. But that's not an attitude towards animals that I see here a lot. Like people don't care whether the animal is scared of you or they're feeling uneasy, let alone stressed. But there's a level of respect towards nature and the part of nature that, you know, they can't speak for themselves,
That's right.
but you treat them as if, you know, you would like to be treated.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that doesn't only apply to living creatures like animals. I mean, we're talking about this place itself. It's a living creature, but it's majestic. It's huge, you know what I mean? And I believe you're one of the first of treating this place like, you know, like how you're supposed to be doing it. When you first came back, it wasn't here in particular, but it was in Bogor.
Yeah, it was in
But
Bogor. How
how did you see the nature in Bogor very different to how it was, let's say, in Australia?
So back when, I'm gonna do it sequentially.
Yeah,
When we came back from Australia, we lived for a brief period of time in the Perumahan Dosen,
got it.
like the housing complex for the lecturers.
Yeah,
And as you know, in IPB, there's a huge forest.
yeah.
Of course,
Beautiful forest.
It was artificial, and it's maintained well by the government and by the institution of the university. So because I grew up there, I was really close with nature. I often spent time alone in the forest, just running around.
Just like a usual kid running around.
Yeah, running
Yeah.
around. But because I didn't have a lot of friends my age, and because I'm an only child,
Yeah.
I bond a lot with nature like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't fit in well back at school. I didn't fit in well, so I spent most of my time just running around in nature, connecting with nature. And one of the differences that I felt was, you know, I'm free here. Because nobody really told me like, oh, this is dangerous. I just went there, even though my mom oftentimes got heart attacks. Like, yeah.
Okay. But I'm assuming when you say that your time alone in the forest is a time of peace, I'm assuming outside of the forest it wasn't peaceful.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen your Instagram and I saw how people judged you from the beginning. School wasn't the best time of your life, or was it?
I would say, yeah, school back in Indonesia was, when I came back to Indonesia, school was not the best place for me. Like I wasn't that comfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't get along with a lot of people, but I did have some good friends that are friends with me to this day. But most people, you know, saw me as weird. Saw me as weird for caring that much about trash. For, you know, there was this one time I scolded a bunch of kids that were harassing a gecko.
Yeah.
So they were like playing around with the gecko, and they had this belief that if you kill a gecko, that's good somehow. This didn't make any ecological or ethical sense to me. So I scolded them for it, but then I got bullied for it.
How did you scold them?
So I'm like, hey, you're not supposed to harm this gecko. You didn't do anything wrong. And then I brought up the entire food chain argument.
No, you didn't.
If you kill the gecko, there's going to be a load of mosquitoes, and who's going to be there to clean up the mosquitoes for you?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, I can see why. Oh, by the way, as we're talking,
Because I can't hear you.
there's gonna be a bunch of helicopters here, but that's the fun part of it. No, I can see you being brought up in a place where full of morals and ethics, and then come to a place where there's not so much of it. And those differences can cause lots of troubles. I mean, different mindsets and differences in, I guess, just living life.
Yeah.
But so my question is, how did you manage to be yourself and not actually fit in to the way that most of people were thinking here? You know what I mean? How did you stick to being right,
Okay.
even at a young age?
So I don't want people to generalize. Oh, because he lived in Australia, he's better.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna preface this answer by saying that I just got the good things out of Australia. and applied them to my life.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that there aren't any good things here in Indonesia as well.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, a lot of people actually care about the environment here and have that level of respect that the guy who scolded me when I was harassing a cucumber, like a sea cucumber,
Yeah.
scolded me. Like, there are people like that over here,
Yeah.
but we just don't see them.
Yeah.
We just don't see them a lot. Maybe because they don't want to show themselves. Maybe because they're scared. Maybe because they don't they don't fit in as well with everyone else. But they do exist,
That's right.
and I happen to know plenty of them.
Yeah.
And I know plenty of them because sometimes it's because they reach out to me.
Yeah.
It's because they feel like I'm a safe space for them. It's like, oh, how do you do this? You're so awesome. I actually want to do the same thing that you do, but I just don't have the courage to do so.
Yeah.
And they come to me, and then I see them, and then we become friends.
So when was the first time you felt comfortable in doing what you're doing today?
I would say 2010.
2010.
So 2010, I just graduated from primary school,
Got it.
and I entered junior high school, which was a public school.
SMP 9.
SMP Negeri 14.
14, sorry.
Yeah. I give the credit to the teachers for facilitating me.
What did you ask?
No.
Oh, just
As
for
in, like,
being...
they made me who I am today.
Wow.
Yeah, they made me who I am today, especially the English teacher, Mrs. Weenie.
Wow, huge shout out.
She helped me, brought the potential out of me. Because when I came back from Australia and I spent time in primary school, I was a lot of, how do I put this? It was very difficult for me to express myself.
Yeah.
But in 7th grade, she saw my potential. Hey, your English is good. Where did you learn your English? Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, do you want to compete in storytelling?
Wow.
Do you want to compete in storytelling? And I said, oh yeah, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And so I competed locally in the school, on the school level. And then turns out I was really good at it. And she said I was really good at it. So she trained me. She told me how to speak, how to deliver, how to arrange, a narrative. And that's where I exercised my storytelling capabilities. And combined that with my concern for the environment, I began to also participate in speech competitions, and I also did talks in my own school about my concerns.
Wow, dude, this is a great starting point of a really good film. It's like an English teacher believing with a kid. So, every kid is born with care and love towards things that are out there, animals, environment, and I guess the environment and the people around them can change their perspective towards how they see things. That's what I believe. So they are born with love and care, and some people, feed those love and care to even more bigger love and care to towards actions. So I guess from somebody that was interested in the environment, how did you start to actually picking up trash and doing what you're doing today? How did that happen?
I love the way you arranged that question, because I actually wanted to get to that point in the previous one.
Got it. Okay.
You just made a good transition from the thought to the action.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is continuing on the part where I went into SMP Negeri 14.
Yeah.
So when I was in grade 7, I also, that's when I figured out that, this school is a little bit different. This is a public school instead of like a private school. And so they have different standards. And initially, I thought that the standards were difficult, as in like everyone was so clean and everyone was so disciplined, and I was so lousy because I came from is swasta private school.
yeah.
So I came from so when I moved to Indonesia, I failed the test to go to a public school because
Did you? Yeah.
I couldn't speak Indonesian.
Yeah, I'd assume. Yeah. Okay.
So I learned as I went
Yeah.
in a public school, but public schools have different standards, and they don't really like, I don't know. My assumption at the time was we were more chill.
Yeah.
So when I went to a public school for junior high school, like everyone was like rapih, and I was like, oh no, I gotta fit in. And there was this thing called piket.
That's right. Yeah.
We didn't have piket in private schools.
Yeah.
So back in the private school, the guy would we had a janitor, and the
Yeah.
janitor would do all the cleaning.
Yeah.
And here in the public school,
The kids had to do it.
The kids have to do the cleaning.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, by the way, but I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
But because I was so afraid of, not fitting in, I started to be very diligent at it. I started to be extra diligent at it.
Wow. Even if it's not your turn.
We'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. So my schedule was on Tuesday.
Got it.
Okay, and I had a crush, and her schedule was on Wednesday. So, yeah, sometimes I would do another pick-up on the next day,
Yeah.
just to go
Just to be with her.
just to clean up with her, or at least to be in her presence,
Got
something
it.
like that.
Yeah.
But as time passed by, I noticed that people started disappearing. Like they didn't attend the picket. They didn't
Okay.
attend the cleanup.
So it wasn't a must.
It was a must,
Okay.
but it wasn't enforced.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
It
There's
was
a
a
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it, but nobody's there to tell you to do it when you have to.
So you don't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up cleaning up alone on Tuesdays, and on Wednesdays, I noticed that nobody was there, including my crush at the time. So, you know what? I just did it. I just did it, and then I did it every day. I ended up doing it every single day.
Wow.
Just just as a getaway to like clear my mind, to connect with nature, I would like to say.
Dude, but this is a 14-year-old you, I'm assuming, right?
I think I was 14, 13.
14, 13. I could see those activities being done by a 30-year-old, clearing their mind. You're clearing your mind from what, math class? Like, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of people think that I am way too old for my age, but I don't think so as well, because I think I'm like a kidult. I'm a forever child, because I allow my inner child to express himself while I'm cleaning up.
That's great, yeah.
So instead of cleaning up like normal, I would clean up while fencing or something
Yeah.
like that. Like I would pretend that I am a Power Ranger fighting an evil trash monster, something
Yeah.
like that. So in a way, I'm a forever child in that regard.
Yeah.
So even though it's a very mature thing to do, I do it in a fun way, in such a way that a kid would enjoy it as well.
I did some research, and I saw one of your interviews. You said this that blew my mind, which is true. That you find the joy in picking up trash, not because, well, obviously some part of it is for the nature, but it's actually for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's for your peace and for your, I guess, for your sanity,
Yeah.
because you enjoy it so much. And I believe that something like that can only happen when it's taught from a very, very young age. To find peace in doing good. So who is actually responsible in teaching you that? If you can go back to your early days of, I guess, understanding life. Was it
Yeah.
your dad? Was it your mom? Was it?
I would say both.
Got it.
I would
Okay.
say both. My mom, because she teaches conservation.
Yeah.
A lot of the ideas about conservation came from my mom, but the action itself, I think it was inspired by my dad because he is like he's an action man.
Yeah.
I remember this time when we were still living in the housing complex in Ipebe, like the lectures housing complex. When we were still there, there was a pile of trash. There was a pile of trash, like an illegal dump site. It's not supposed to be a dump site. But nobody did anything about it. And even though people already complained to the authorities, nothing was done about it. Nothing, and my dad, he went out and like, fine, I'll do it myself. I'm just gonna clean it up and do something about it. And I think, and there are plenty of occasions where my dad was like that. It's like, this is simple. This is not that complicated. We can go out there and do it. We don't have to wait for the government.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
This is not rocket science.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's picking up trash. As a matter of fact, because it's at a small scale, we can. That's easy. We can do it. It's doable. Of course, we can't pick up like 10 trucks of trash. That's beyond our capacity. But if it's just a pile of trash in front of our house, we can do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's that we can do itism that
Started everything.
that kind of like that I got from my dad,
Yeah.
and also and the reason behind it is also backed by knowledge from my mom.
Wow, amazing. So, from Pikat, never left till today,
Yeah.
and now you're part of a community called Plugging,
Yeah.
which is really interesting because I've seen your lives, I've seen you talk with communities worldwide, and it's amazing how to see one individual can pick up thousands of kilograms of trash. You've picked up 2,000.
I forgot the numbers, maybe 2,800.
2,820
maybe
something.
more, because the way I write down the missions now is different from the way I used to. So back when I was in high school, I would clean up, and then I would weigh the trash, and then I would write it down.
Got it.
Now, I do it a little bit differently because now I go through a sorting process, and because most of the trash that I retrieve is from the water,
Yeah.
I obviously want it to be dry first. So we're gonna wait for the water to drain out. So that would be a very lengthy process if I had to like wait for the water to dry and then sort after each cleanup. So the way I do it right now is like after each cleanup, I just record the date and the time
Okay.
of doing it. And then I wait till the end of the month till I do all the sorting,
And then you weigh it up.
and then I weigh everything. So it
Who's
might
counting?
I'm counting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like there's no competition to it, right?
No, it's just something that you would like. Do you know? Do you play video games?
Yeah.
You play video games.
Yeah,
for
you want to
example.
reach to the next level.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
I get what you mean.
Sometimes it's a flex to yourself or to your
Yeah.
future self.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah, it's you look at your old notes from back in high school. It's like, I picked up 100 kilogram one mission. Damn, why can't I pick up 100 kilograms now? I can only pick up like 5.
Yeah.
It really it's a good way to monitor your progress and how to. It's like, yeah.
There's only so much that you can do. We produce 1,000 kilograms of trash daily. Is that correct? Stats?
I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Indonesia itself.
The stats change every second. man.
Exactly. So if we assume, let's say, 1,000 kilograms daily,
Okay.
you've picked up trash from 2013, right? So the amount for over 10 years, it's 2 days of
Yeah, that's
the
crazy,
Indonesian.
right?
That's crazy.
I do
mean,
nothing.
the stat,
I do nothing. It might sound like a lot, but it's
but
actually
it's actually nothing. It's actually nothing. So the question is, how do you stop people throwing trash 1,000 kilograms a day
Yeah.
and build more of you? So we have the stats,
Yeah,
quite balanced out.
that's a good question.
Is that possible? Is that not possible? Or even a better question, I think, is that the goal, or is that not the goal for you?
That's actually a very good question. My God, this is philosophical and technical at the same time. That's crazy. It's technical, it's philosophical.
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain I would say the philosophical side first.
Got it.
I think that for me, is that the goal? Not really. Personally, I just do it because I like it. But if there's something good that can happen from this, that would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be a nice legacy to leave behind. So that's basically what I pay attention to, because if I start to put my attention on other people, like external stuff outside of me, expecting them to be impacted by what I'm doing, is gonna put too much stress load onto me.
Yeah, you're gonna bring out all the traumas that happened in primary school.
Caring about what other people do to a certain extent is not healthy. So if you pick up trash and somebody litters, if you think about it too much, you can go mad. Like you can cause trouble. You can get into fights, and in fact, it has happened. And that's just not good.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, you got to realize that people who litter aren't evil. They're not really harming you. They just happen to have bad habits.
Right.
So you have to have compassion when it comes to dealing with them. You can't punch your way through it. So for me, from a philosophical standpoint, my goal isn't to compel people to do this. I don't feel like this is something that people should be compelled to do.
Got it.
It's something that should come from within. It's like they have to realize, oh, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna do it. If we make it mandatory somehow, like the draft or something like that, which might sound interesting, especially to I did think about this before. Like, what if we have like a cleanup draft?
Yeah.
Like, what if instead of going to war, high schoolers above the age of 18 have to go on a war against trash?
Wow, that's interesting.
That's interesting, and it's cool, and I think it's that would
Doable,
be fun.
yeah.
That's doable. But after like years of being on my own draft, like drafting myself, I realized that
It's not for everyone.
it's not for everyone. Some people would be absolute warriors at it. Some people would slay in the battlefield, something like that, but other people would hate it.
Yeah.
And because the goal of cleanup is to make everyone love the environment, doing it the forcing way I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the philosophical side of it. But the technical side of it, so there's this guy from Germany. His name is Tobias Reach, and I met him on Instagram. Again, part of the global vlogging community. I came across his profile on Instagram, and then we went live again. We went live a lot because we enjoy having conversations. And he has this goal.
Yeah.
He has this goal, which is he wants to get people to clean up, every single person to clean up at least 2.2 kilograms. So this is like a sweet compromise.
Wow. Okay.
You don't have to clean up too much, but at least clean up 2.2 kilograms a year.
Year?
Yeah. And by doing that, you would make it so that the litter rate of the world is 0.
Really?
Yeah, that's his calculation. He made that calculation.
Okay.
And so his profile name is The Collector's 2.2 kilograms.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And
So 2.2 times 8 billion, I'm assuming.
yeah,
Right?
2.2.
Okay.
So if people could just pick up that amount every single year, we would put the litter rate to 0. I don't know the
That'll
exact
do the work,
numbers.
yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers now because obviously, the stats are changing
That's
by
right,
the
yeah.
second. But that's what he's aiming to do. And the crazy thing about him, and here I'll tell you something about him, is that not only is he making that calculation, but he is actually acting that out. So
Wow.
he is a van guy, so he travels on
Yeah.
van, and he visits and he travels the world. By the way, he started in Germany, he went to Turkey, and then he went to he went to Pakistan, India, and he's currently now in Tibet. And he's on his way to Indonesia, by the way.
Wow.
He's on
So
his
you're
way-
meeting him.
I am meeting him. Hopefully, he
that's
makes it
interesting.
safe here.
Yeah.
And at every country that he visits, he gathers people to clean up together with him, which is part of his mission. He enjoys solo cleanup just like me,
Yeah.
but he also,
Can do so much.
he also wants to get people involved by
Dude, I'd love to help. I'd love to come. I mean, despite this, we're doing this podcast, but let's figure it out off the cam. But
yeah.
whenever that's happening, let's do something about it. But you, with the theory that you just mentioned, you've managed to clean for 1,000 people.
Excuse me, what?
2.2 kilograms, right?
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
you've managed to clean up basically for 1,000 people, 2,800 something that you said, right? So, I mean,
Well,
it's
sorry, mind you, I've been doing it for over like a span of a decade.
yeah over
Yeah.
over 10 years, right? So it's a job that I believe not only requires hard work, but also the dedication to wake up every day, to pick up trash, to enjoy doing it. The simple question is, what do you get out of it?
Good question. What do I get out of it? I don't know. this is a question that that the further into it you get, the more you don't know what it is.
But I accept answers such as inner peace or happiness.
Yeah.
But is that the answer?
I don't know. The thing is, I don't know because there's a lot of things. If you asked me when I was in high school, maybe the answer would be, what do I get out of it? I get buff because I clean up a lot. If you ask me when I was in college, maybe the answer was, oh, I get smart because I'm doing all this research and I
sorting
write
out.
down all the data and stuff like that. If you ask me, maybe in the future, if this becomes a business somehow, I don't know. I'm doing it so that this can be a sustainable, green activity that could, sustain many lives here, and I get a lot out of it, including respect from the people around me, and but for me. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to lay out is that there's no single thing that you get out of it. You get a lot of things.
Yeah, just like at any job, I guess.
Yeah. You do something for the environment does a lot of things for you.
That's
And
amazing.
sometimes you don't even think about it, you don't even expect it, it just comes. There's like this natural occurrence of trade. Like
Yeah.
if you give something, you get something.
Yeah.
It's like every action results in an equal and opposite reaction, something,
That's right.
something like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
it's the law of the universe type thing
Yeah.
that you just don't expect would come back to you, but it does.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it for that. I don't know. I just love it.
That's right.
How do
And
I
that-
explain
and
that?
that's-
I just love.
Yeah, and that's good enough reason to love something and do something. Where did the canoe come in?
Okay, good question. This is actually a fun. So a lot of people think that I am a paddler first and a trash person second because how good I am at
Yeah.
it. I learned paddling less than 3 months, I would say.
Really?
To the point where I can do a Eskimo roll on a kayak.
Yeah, I've seen. Well,
Yeah.
impressive. In still water?
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
still water. This is not really still water. It's moving.
Yeah.
So we call it flat water,
Flat, okay.
as opposed to white water, which is the river.
Got it. Okay.
So those are the technical
now you know. I
terms.
don't know. I don't
It's
know.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Because if you say still water, people would assume it's like the like pools that are abandoned.
Got it,
That's
yeah.
dangerous because
Is it?
algae.
Oh yeah. That's
Algae and microorganisms can actually not.
Right. Yeah.
can
And they
get
don't
into-
go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay.
So that's still water, but flat water is just describing the surface of it. So the ocean, you could call it flat water
Okay.
in terms of paddling
Yeah.
terms. In 2022, how do I even begin?
Take your time. Take your time.
I
dude.
hope you have. I hope
Of
you have
course, of
time.
course, we
because
have
this
time.
is an entire lore on it in
Yeah.
and of itself. So
We
the
got time.
news. The canoes came here because I know this guy. His name is Pak De Suparno Jumar. And Pak De Suparno Jumar is an activist in Ciliwung River.
Okay.
Ciliwung River. And he knows a bunch of people, including this amazing entrepreneur. His name is Anas Ridwan, and he owns Boogie, like a boat manufacturing company. And at the time, they were celebrating the anniversary of their new product, a boat, they call it a pack raft, in Situ Gede. But I didn't know Mr. Anas at this point. I knew Suparno Jumar.
Did you live here before?
I was already living
here.
here,
Okay.
2022. I didn't know about the boat guy. I knew about the trash guy because Pak De Suparno Jumar knew me because we were like in the trash world, you know.
Yeah.
We were in the trash world. So he said like, "Hey Hara, I'm in Situ Gede. You gonna come over or what?" You know, and I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm cleaning up.
Yeah.
Where are you?" "I'm on the other side of the lake." And yeah, he was on the other side of the lake, and there were a bunch of boats. And then I came over, and then, you know, long story short, yada yada yada, we got into a conversation. I met Mr. Anas, the owner of Boogie, and then I showed him this, my trash picker.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, this is so interesting." blah,
Which
blah,
you made
blah.
by yourself, by
I
the way?
made by myself.
With your own 3D printer?
Exactly.
Wow.
So, so we had this thing in common between me and Mr. Anas. I had this, which is my own product, and he also makes boats. And as a matter of fact, he bought a trash picker because he liked it so much, and he liked the idea of picking up trash as a hobby. And then he said, like,
So this is for sale.
"It is."
You got one ready. You got a few ready. No.
No.
Oh, okay. So it's paid for pre-orders.
Yeah, it's pre-ordered.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
But yeah.
Let's get that out so people can buy
Yeah,
them. Okay,
sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anyway.
So we had that in common. And he liked the idea of cleaning up trash as a hobby. And in our conversation, there was this idea about integrating between paddling and picking up trash.
Amazing.
So, and at the time, there were a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of kids with me picking up trash, and because there were boats, the kids were like, "Hey, can we go on the boats? Can we go on the boats?" And then Pak De Suparno Jumar, as the lead of that event, said, "Yeah, let's go on boats and let's pick up trash," something like that. And then that was the first time I paddled as well.
Wow.
First time I paddled as well. And then, well,
That's been your thing ever since.
the rest is history. Yeah.
Wow.
This is the sorting station / equipment stash. So this is so let's say I came home from cleaning up. I'd put the trash here, and then I would sort it, and then once it's sorted, I would pile it up inside here. Over here are the waders that my team and I use when we go to the field, and boots as well. Oh yeah, and here we have a box, and this is full of respirators, and each of them has, you know, because these are PPEs, personal protection equipment. They are marked to each user, and also the trash picker stash is all over here. And here are the bottles, like the bottles that we find from all around the lake. I don't really know what to do with it, because if we put them together with the others, because that's not really plastic, so we can't really put that together with plastic, so we have to put it somewhere. So this is called a spray skirt. It's what we kayakers use to keep water out of the kayak. And it has to be somewhat wet so that it can flex. It's made out of neoprene.
So this is my PFD, personal flotation device. So this PFD is non-standard. It's I don't recommend doing all these modifications to your personal flotation device. Disclaimer, yeah. So because look, the thing about personal flotation devices is they're not supposed to have like these things on it because it can make it dangerous. So because I am a pro, I can get away with doing this, and I'm doing this at my own risk. So I usually go out and like go in circles, and I search for trash. Oh, there's a piece of trash over there. If the trash is close enough to the shore, where it would not really be necessary for me to use my paddle, I just use my left hand. And so as you can see, there's trash here. And again, I'm just picking up the plastic, so I don't really need to pick up the leaves. No, we don't have to pick these up. But if you can put it on land, that would be better for the soil. And so let's go pick up that piece of trash right there. So as you can see, this sucks. This is why trash is stinky. There's organics inside the plastic. So what I do is if I can reach land, I'm gonna put it out like this, and I'm gonna take only the plastic, and I'm gonna let this rot on the soil, you know, where it's not gonna be too much of a problem. If I have the time, I'm gonna bury it, but even if I don't, this is not gonna be a problem in a few days. I'm gonna turn left and do a cross stroke pickup. Okay. As you can see, there's a combination between using the two techniques with your hand and with the paddle. So if the trash is on the left side, I can do this, but then I can do this. Well, as you can see, there's a fish inside this. So this is one of the ways that plastic kills. Exactly. This is one of the ways that plastic kills. The fish can't swim back out. The fish itself, it can't swim back out. So once it's inside, it's stuck and it dies. Because we don't really want to, I don't want to touch this now because this is not, I don't wear protection on my right hand, so I'm just going to put it here. Maybe I'm going to put it someplace else until I can sort it later. And I'm actually going to talk to the kids. I'm going to ask them if they want this. Angga! Angga!
You now have a huge following. And not only on social media, but in real life. I mean, people come here, you have volunteers. I've seen those Ngabuburit videos, which were amazing. I want to know, to what extent is menginspirasi, mengajak, dan karena you don't want to use the word menyuruh. You don't want to force it.
Yeah.
But how do you manage to inspire them to actually be a part of what you're doing? Because that's a huge part of the, I think, problem there. For people to join in and say, "Hey, I want to do it myself."
Okay.
How do you manage to do that?
Exactly. I really want to avoid commands.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to
menggurui.
you have to do this.
Yeah.
I don't like that because that was never done to me.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever done that to me. Nobody ever did that to me. Like my parents didn't tell me to do this.
Yeah.
My parents, as a matter of fact, my dad, he just did it, and I was like, "Hey, that's cool. I'm gonna do that." So the way I like to do things is that I just do it, and if you want to join, you join. But just do it at your own pace. If you feel like you can only pick up one piece of trash a day, just do that. If you feel like you can pick up a bag of trash every single day, just do that. As a matter of fact, I don't force myself every day as well. Let's say there are days that I feel like, I'm just gonna pick up trash on the side of the lake. Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're moving forward, running, walking, or crawling, as long as you're moving forward, that's a good day.
That's right. That's right. Well, I want to talk about one thing. Well, two things actually. We talked a little bit about the lake. And I was shocked to know when you shared a location to me on WhatsApp, it's actually your house. And you live by the lake. It's such a blessing to live with that view, with this amazing
It is.
weather and everything in between gitu. Tapi it's such a shame that in a place where you live, there's plenty of trash and people that don't treat it as well. This place itself means a lot to you. And I really want you to tell people that are watching this the analogy that you have about the hot and sexy auntie. Because I think that's really, really cool, and that's really, really important for people to understand.
Okay. So I want to illustrate. I want to tell the audience that there are 3, maybe 4 exactly, green areas in the Bogor area that's surrounding us right now. So there's Situ Gede,
Which is this?
with the Bogor Forestry Science Park, and there's IPB, Institute Pertanian Bogor, and there's also Gunung Kapur Ciampea, and also there is Kebun Raya Bogor.
Yeah.
So I would actually group IPB and Kebun Raya Bogor into the same group because they're both well maintained. They're both being monitored by the government and by their respective institutions. However, the important distinction to make is, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like to analogize these. I don't understand women, but so this analogy might be a little bit men-centric.
I understand women enough that I married one, so I can approve your analogy. So go for it.
So for any women watching out there, I'm sorry if this offends you. If this analogy is an imperfect, but this is just a perspective as someone who kind of understands women from outside. Okay, so we all know that, like if let's say, imagine a young but already quite mature, unmarried woman, like an auntie,
Yeah.
and she is attractive, hot.
Yeah.
But nobody is actually, I would say, nobody is actually good enough for her.
Got it.
She doesn't meet, she hasn't met someone who understands her quite well. And then she has a sister, and her sister is already married. Her sister is already a married, independent mother who raises children in a stable family. And then they have a mother. They both have a mother, and their mother is old. She's very wise.
Yeah.
And however, she's being forgotten. She's being forgotten because her children are already doing their own
doing
thing.
their own thing.
And so let's bring back the analogy to the hot auntie. This is Situ Gede.
Yeah.
Situ Gede is sought after. It's sought after. People are coming here. There's so many people coming here. It's very attractive. A lot of people have their eyes on this place, but they don't know how to properly respect it. They don't know how to treat it the way it deserves to be treated. So, for example, the concept of what this wants to be is never really agreed upon by every institution. So we have the government, parts of the government that say, oh, this is a tourism site. This is a tourism site. You're not allowed to do this. But there's society
Yeah.
that lives here and has their own interests,
That wants their bikes here. That wants
and they
yeah.
want to do this. And there's also people from outside that come here and say, oh, this looks very good. Let's do this,
Let's build this.
And nothing is in line with one another. There's no regulation. There's no being taken care of. Nothing is being taken care of. And the way I would like to imagine, being able to empathize with this place is by imagine a mature but like a mature unmarried. I'm not saying that you should get married to be mature. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. So don't get triggered. What I'm saying is that just imagine a woman who's not being treated well, but she's attractive. Like a lot of people want to be in her life, but they're not good enough.
Got it. Yeah.
They're not good enough, and they don't understand her. They don't understand her. They don't know how to treat her well.
Unlike the mother.
Unlike the mother is already well established. She is married to a man who understands her, let's say. But I'm not saying it's because of the man. It's because
you're like protecting yourself with these analogies. Like it's fine. Like these listeners, no, they're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love the analogy when you said she's producing kids that could take care of her.
Exactly. Like let's say, for example, IPB.
Producing students.
They're producing students. Like the forest is like a mother that is well maintained by the government because it's being protected. You can't hunt there. No. If you hunt there, if you get caught hunting there, it's illegal.
It's done. Yeah, you're done.
So it's being protected. The ecosystem is under protection by those who have power.
Got it.
And that environment is being engineered in such a way that it can be a learning place for students, and students who graduate from that university can go out to, safeguard other forests.
Yeah, take care of that lonely auntie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is what you're doing.
I guess I'm a nephew.
Because you're a product of of that. Yeah.
I think because I grew up there.
Yeah.
I grew up there.
Yeah.
I grew up in that environment where things were like the forest was protected. You weren't allowed to hunt. Trash was being taken care of, and as a matter of fact, they do have a good internal waste management system right now, and they do have an incinerator.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's
so
amazing.
they don't have to be connected with the TPA. They have an internal, like IPB, they have an internal incinerator. So that's awesome. It's kind of like a miniature country, I would like to say.
Amazing. Let's talk about the grandma.
Okay, let's talk about the grandma. I don't know much about Gunung Kapur, Ciampea, but I did, I remember telling you earlier in this interview that I used to go out in the wild, as a kid, and there's this one time back in junior high school where I wandered off all the way to Gunung Kapur, which is 15 kilometers away from IPB, and I walked there by myself, actually with my dog.
You walked all the way there.
Yeah, I walked.
You walked 15 kilometers.
Yes,
all the way to the top.
Look, I don't think it's 15 kilometers if you go straight. Maybe it's like about 3, but you're gonna go like this. Yeah.
Dude, you can see it from space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a walk that you can see from space isn't a walk. It's a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. I would say it's Exodus or something like that, maybe.
Okay.
So I went there. I went halfway on top of the mountain, and I saw a lot of mining activities. And a lot of these mining activities were
Illegal.
unregulated.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word illegal
Oh.
because it's not like the government doesn't know about them.
That's a good one.
What I would like to use is unregulated.
Yeah.
So they know what's going on, but they just don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's very difficult to monitor when things are going a little bit
Yeah.
too far.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a huge chunk of the mountain is like on top of the mountain. There's like a huge forest, but a huge
With
chunk
monkeys
of it,
and everything,
with
right? Yeah,
monkeys
yeah.
and
It's
everything.
beautiful.
Macaca vascularis. I don't know if they're natives there, but I don't know. They color up the place.
Yeah.
A huge portion of it, like at least half of it, is already chunked away. Is already by the excavators and explosions and stuff like
It's the
that.
dying grandma.
The dying grandma, and she's being forgotten by her children. Exactly. So it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. How can we produce better children?
Better children? I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. I don't have children yet. You should ask my parents. You should ask my parents when it comes to producing children. But yeah.
But that's the goal, isn't it? That's to build children to take care of this hot auntie, take care of that dying grandma.
Yeah.
Because I think the logic is if we produce, better children for tomorrow, it would give, I think, generational impact, right? Because I want to live in a place where I have to no longer teach my kids or even grandkids later on that you can't chase lizards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it would be logical for them to stare at them, not to touch them.
Exactly. That's something. Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
So how do you think we can make that happen? It is maybe an easier question is using social media one way of it, you think?
I think that social media helps.
Got it.
Exactly. It helps establish a new norm.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be, technicalities in how we're going to convey that message,
Yeah.
which I don't have the answer to quite yet. But I really like the way you pointed out that, it's important for us to be able to enjoy and appreciate nature without having to get to it. Like, for example, if you like lizards, you don't have to chase them and
Yeah.
keep them and put them in cages or whatever. You can just look at them and admire their beauty, and that'd be enough.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, buddy of mine, his name is Nathan. He's a snake expert. He often goes on herping. You know what herping is? Herping is basically looking at lizards and snakes.
It's like bird watching, right?
It's like bird watching, but yeah. It took me a while to understand the joy in just looking at them, I was like, what are you doing? You're just looking at them.
This is a funny story. We were in Ubud. It was a festival. And then on the rundown, it says 5 o'clock, bird watching till 10 o'clock. So what is this? You watch birds. It's one of the funniest things we've ever done. But it makes sense. And we understand the joy.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
Nathan.
So, by the way, my mother is an ornithologist. So
Okay.
she does bird watching
For a living, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She bird watches
Yeah.
a lot. It is a matter of fact, I think I don't understand her as much as, But my buddy Nathan, who happens to know my mother as well, and my mother is scared of snakes to death.
Okay, funny. Okay.
So Nathan oftentimes goes around the lake when he's like, hey, are you awake? I'm gonna go herping right now. And then if I go herping with him, he's gonna show me. He has eyes like eagles, like an
I'd
eagle.
assume, yeah.
He has eyes like an eagle, so he could shine a flashlight in one general direction, and he would point out that is a dendrelaphis, that is a Enhydrus homolopsis buccata. He's like an encyclopedia.
Get him a TV show. He should be the next Steve Irwin.
Exactly, I do believe so. But what he taught me is that basically there are ways to enjoy nature
Yeah.
by knowing.
Yes.
So knowledge is one of the ways that you can entertain yourself with just looking at it.
That's right.
So knowledge and understanding. So, okay, what's the joy of looking at snakes? Is it just looking at them? No, it's understanding them.
Yeah.
It's understanding how they mate, how they find their prey, and that gives us a deeper understanding as to how the world works.
Yeah.
Because we often, we don't pay attention to these things that are going on under our feet, but they happen. So, one of the things that I learned about snakes is that there's plenty of them, and they're not. You shouldn't be as scared of them as you normally are,
Yeah, that's right.
because most of them actually want to avoid us.
Yeah.
They don't want to be around us because you know what? The most dangerous predator on this planet is
Yeah.
us.
Us. Yeah. We're the most dangerous animals in the world. Well, Hara, I see that you have a book.
Okay. Yeah.
It's filled with secrets. I feel like.
Okay.
Talk to me about it. And I know you keep track. So are these all your tracks, like all the trash you've picked up for the past few years?
Yeah.
Or what are they?
This book is called the Solo-san book. Solo-san is solo sanitizing, and honestly, it used to have like a full picture, but it got spilled on with oil, and so the picture went away.
Okay.
It's an artwork that I made when I was still in high school. But by the way, so this is what the contents. I'm going to show you about this in a moment. So let me show you. Is it okay if I show it like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are I would say the data stuff about, my missions. This is going to be the date and the coordinates of the place, and then here are the trash bags. So 10.1, 10.95, 14.35 kilograms, 3.85, 39.25. So this is how I write things down.
2016.
Yep. This is 2016, and then it goes on and on and on and on. And at this point, I started writing it down in Excel. But I am going to.
You've managed to cope with technology.
Yeah. But I am still going to write it manually because I feel like there's a certain romanticism to that.
I understand.
I love it.
I do it. Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the stars. Okay, this is a little bit complicated to explain, so I'm going to explain the singular stars first. This, I give myself a printed star every time I reach 100 kilograms.
That's amazing.
So I reach 100 kilograms, I give myself a star. I actually have another book, and that's why this is like already like 13. Yeah, something.
13,000.
Yeah.
1,300. Yeah.
1,300. That's the all-time record because there's another book before this.
Wow.
But every 100 kilograms, I give myself a yellow star, and every 1,000 kilograms, I give myself a blue one. Because to my understanding, like blue stars are actually hotter than
Yes,
normal
I
stars. Yeah.
So you reached your 2,000 kilogram in
And this is 2017.
2017.
Yep.
Must
I was a
feel good.
lot crazier back then, man. As you can see, there are missions here that are like I collected. Imagine 194.25 kilograms in a single mission.
Well, how did it feel for you?
Well, it felt exhausting. It felt exhausting, but at the same time, it was also something that I really, 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 it energized me at the same time. So it was exhausting, but it also gave me life.
Amazing. Well, Hara, you're such an inspiration to many. And I believe it's just the beginning. And I can't wait to see more people like you, not only picking up trash, but also understanding the world needs better people because it needs to become a better home for many people and many animals. And the environment is really important for us to breathe, to see, and to live. Anything else you want to add to this interview?
Maybe I would like to conclude this by saying that I usually have the final words that I usually say in the interviews.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, you can't do everything, but what you can do is what you must do.
Amazing. Hannah, thanks for your time, man.
It's
Pleasure.
an honor. It's an honor.